original Federal Reserve Act, amendments to it, stuck together. It's absolutely a disaster in terms of what's going on with us. Well, why won't Congress act? Everyone in this room, I'm thinking, why won't Congress act? Well, they don't represent us anymore. They're a political elite. They're doing what they're told in order for them to stay in power. It's just that simple. You know, they're incompetent, they're ignorant, they're criminal, they're complicit, they're intimidated, afraid, arrogant, lazy. I don't care. All of the above. We just need to vote these guys out. I think we're starting to see that happen now across the country, where the incumbents are being voted out all over the place. Because it's really up to us, we the people. We're going to be the ones that ultimately have to fix it, because we are the ones that actually have the political power, according to our Constitution. We have representatives that are supposed to conduct themselves by our consent, but they're not. So we can forget for right now the legislative approach, the congressional approach, as I'll call it. What we can do, we can sue. Every single one of them, we can sue. You're going to say, Dr. Davis, you're crazy. The Fed makes the laws. They control Congress. They own the courts. They have all the money they need to defeat this litigation. Au contraire. I'm sorry, I'm here to tell you today that they don't. And here's how this is going to work. The Fed has been acting in one of three ways. Either illegally, criminally, breaking the law on a civil basis, or damaging us in other ways. This is a moral question. When I prescribe you a chemotherapy drug, and you take that drug and you die as a result of that drug, I can be sued. Did I do anything wrong? Necessarily. I mean, I followed a protocol. But that drug could have a specific reaction with you that can kill you. But I can be sued civilly. The banks can be sued civilly. And here's how we're going to do it. All we have to do is prove two things. For any of those that are lawyers here, there's a lot of more technical detail. This is just the basic fundamental concepts. You have to have standing in court. Most of the cases against Barack Obama and the birther movement have been thrown out because they said they didn't have standing, because if he's president illegally, then it affects everyone the same. It's kind of like this law of uniformity. In order to go to court, you have to show that you've been specifically damaged. That gives you standing. So everybody here that's ever had to pay interest on a loan, that's had a foreclosure, or had a bankruptcy, guess what? You've got standing. You meet any of those three requirements, you have standing. You don't have to go get a loan. You just pay for your car. Like was talked about before, this is not a requirement, it's not a privilege, it's a right. The other thing you have to prove is damages. And boy, we've been damaged in an immense way. That's not going to be hard to prove. So what am I going to do? Any of those of you who've watched Glenn Beck, he started talking about Cloward and Piven, these two monsters that erected this anti-American strategy against us. Well, I'm going to turn it back around on them. They should take judo. In judo, you take your opponent's power and strength and you use it against them. We're going to use the Cloward and Piven strategy against those sons of bitches. We're going to overwhelm the system. We're going to overwhelm them. We're going to take them down because we're going to launch the largest class action suit in the history of the world. And this is how we're going to do it. We're going to demand monetary and non-monetary relief, meaning injunction. We're going to say, you can't do what you're doing anymore. Dr. Davis, you can't practice medicine anymore because you're reckless. Okay? We're going to use the tobacco litigation as our model. If you recall, we won almost $500 million, almost $500 billion from big tobacco through doing exactly this method. Small little litigations, thousands of them all over the country. You knit them all together and you create a tsunami that they simply can't defend themselves. We'll retain thousands of law firms all across the United States, filing thousands of lawsuits with dozens of causes of action. What do I mean by cause of action? I'll tell you in just a second. And then we're going to do something really sneaky. We're going to take all of our discoveries where lawyers say, you must send me all of your emails, Mr. Bernanke. You must send me all of your texts. You must send me everything you've got, I want to see. And they can't refuse it. They're just a private company. They don't have sovereign immunity. They can be sued just like any of us. or any company. That's their Achilles heel here. That's why we'll win. We're going to take that discovery, we're going to share it with every prosecutor in the United States, federal, state, local. We're going to share it with Congress through Congressman Ron Paul. He's going to circulate all this dirt that we're going to find about how these guys operate with every congressman and senator in this country, over and over and over again. And we're going to publicize this every day, widely, through the internet, and maybe mainstream media if they decide to get on the right side of history. We're going to be suing in the name of every citizen to get our country back. As I said, we're going to be seeking non-monetary damages, which is an injunction saying, you must cancel every note with interest. In fact, you need to give us all the interest that we've ever paid back, because it was fraud. There's three things: fraud in the inducement, unconscionability, and against public policy. These are things that you can sue on in class action suits. These things, if I offer you something illegal, I've offered you a fraud. You don't have to take it. Just my offer. Every time they run a newspaper ad for interest on a loan, that's fraud in the inducement. They've probably done that about 500 billion times. It's unconscionable, because no one in their right mind would set up a monetary system that would cause the collapse of the society. But they've done it. It is unconscionable. We will win in the first, we will win in the second, we will win because it's against public policy. It is not right-minded for Congress to pass a law that destroys this country. Some people, as you heard earlier today, may call that treason. Well, we can't sue for treason, but we can sue for being against public policy. These are just some of the other causes of action. This is just top 10. There are dozens. My brother is one of the best litigators in the United States with civil class action. He's a full partner at Bannon Peck in Cincinnati, and he's working with us to identify what the Fed has done, what they've done wrong, and how we can beat these guys. And the good news is we can, because they're guilty. They're guilty as hell. And that's why we'll beat them. And as our jury verdicts, it's important. I'm not going to depend on any judge. My right as a plaintiff is to demand a jury of my peers. Any of you ever been in civil litigation? The first thing you do, you go to a hearing, pre-trial hearing, and the judge sets it for trial, and he asks the plaintiff, do you want me to decide it, or do you want a jury trial? That's my choice. The Fed can't make that decision. It's mine. It's